Hello everyone, hope you all are doing good. Today we are going to see about the most important condition and frequently we encounter in our practice, that is corneal ulcer. Before going to the clinical case, let us refresh our knowledge in anatomy and physiology of cornea. Cornea is a transparent collagenous tunic that allows light to enter the eye, and it is an avascular part in our body. It is made up of non-keratinized surface epithelium and it has regularly arranged parallel bundles of collagen fibrils. If you look at the thickness, it is 0.77 mm to 0.89 mm, that is less than 1 mm centrally, with the thickness increasing towards the periphery. Therefore, superficially infected ulcers can perforate the cornea in a short time. The cornea is basically divided into 4 layers. The first layer is anterior epithelium, then stroma, then descemet membrane, and the last layer is posterior endothelium. Anterior epithelium provides physical barrier and it is hydrophobic in nature. The next is stroma. 90% of corneal thickness is of stroma and it is hydrophilic in nature. In stroma, the collagen fibrils are arranged parallelly. After injury, arrangement of new reparative collagen fibrils will be irregular. That's the reason we see corneal opacity or scare. Then descemet membrane. This is the last line of defense lying beneath the stroma. It does not take fluorescent stain. And the last layer is posterior endothelium. This is a monolayer that limits the passage of fluid from anterior chamber into stroma. Since the cornea is avascular, nutrients are supplied by precorneal tear film and aqueous humor, but the cornea is richly innervated by ophthalmic branch of trigeminal nerve. That's why injury to the cornea is very painful. So let us see about corneal ulcer now. When do you suspect corneal ulcer? Whenever you believe there is a direct trauma to the eye, excessive lacrimation, painful eye, blepharospasm, rubbing the eye, swelling of one or both eyelids, partial closure of eyelid, you can suspect corneal ulcer. These are the classical signs in corneal ulcers, and all the red, inflamed and painful eyes should be stained to diagnose or rule out the corneal ulcer. There is some problem in this eye, but we don't know whether the cornea is damaged or not. Let us see. A simple test to diagnose corneal ulcer is FDT, fluorescent dye test. This is the fluorescent dye strip. This can be dipped in 2 to 3 ml of sterile water. First we can put the strip inside the syringe and the sterile water can be taken into the syringe. Then this becomes fluorescent green color. 1 drop is enough. We can store this dye for 48 hours in refrigerator. Contamination is possible with prolonged storage. It is a water-soluble dye that is retained by all hydrophilic objects but not hydrophobic. Already I told that anterior epithelium is hydrophobic, so it will not take fluorescent dye. But if there is any breakage, the next layer stroma will take the stain because it is hydrophilic in nature. Now, coming into corneal ulcer types, we can broadly categorize into 2 types. One is simple and the other is complicated. Simple ulcers are superficial without the involvement of stroma and heals within 7 days. But complicated ulcers involve stroma and persist longer than 7 days. This may be deep or chronic or both. This is also an example for complicated ulcer. The corneal layers are melting, maybe due to some bacterial infection. This kind of ulcers will not take dye. Only in the periphery we can see the dye retention. Actually, what happens immediately after direct trauma to the cornea? There are 2 main things. One is corneal edema and the other is neutrophil infiltration. Fluid may enter the stroma with the loss of anterior epithelium or from the aqueous humor due to the damage to the posterior endothelium. And following trauma to the epithelium, the normal bacterial and fungal or contaminating organisms can rapidly colonize and infect the area. These all pictures are taken in mobile camera with a flash. This is one of the best methods to visualize and examine the eye properly because the animal also will not cooperate for a long time and the disease progress also can be compared. We have diagnosed corneal ulcer. How to proceed then? Regardless of cause, chronicity, severity, and whether the ulcer is simple or complicated, there are some common procedures to follow. The first one is identification and removal of cause. This may be foreign body, trichiasis, dystrichiasis, entropion, ectropion, dry eye, etc. The next is topical use of antibiotics. Always, disruption of epithelium predisposes to infection. All the corneal ulcers should be considered infected until proved. Initially, start with broad spectrum antibiotics like chloramphenicol, triple antibiotics, neomycin, polymyxin B, or sulfacetracin, but don't apply ointments in perforator or impending perforation cases because the petrolatum vehicle in the ointment causes severe granulomatous uveitis if it enters into eye. Fluoroquinolones are best for rapidly progressive and deep ulcers like ciprofloxacin, moxifloxacin, gatifloxacin. Then coming to systemic antibiotics, most systemically administered antibiotics are not expected to achieve therapeutic concentration in the cornea because it is avascular. We can give systemic antibiotics if perforation has occurred or impending or in a heavily vascularized cornea or after conjunctival graft placement. Then anti-inflammatory agents. Systemic NSAIDs can be administered for pain management like flunixin-meglumine, phenylbutazone. Systemic corticosteroids also can be given to treat severe concurrent uveitis. But never apply corticosteroids topically in corneal ulcers because the corticosteroids increase the activity of protease in corneal ulcer by 13 times, so it will end up in rapid collagenolisis that causes melting of cornea. To reduce this proteinase activity, we can use autologous serum topically. Then, how to manage the corneal ulcer patients? We have to prevent self-trauma like scratching of eye, rubbing of eye, and avoid direct exposure to sunlight because corneal ulcers are very sensitive to sunlight. Finally, I will conclude with this. Any lesions that break corneal epithelium is emergency. Regardless of size and depth, it should receive prompt and aggressive treatment. I hope you learned something from this video. If you find this video is useful, please share it with your friends. Please subscribe and turn on the notification button if you don't want to miss out the upcoming videos. Thank you.